Good evening friends, my name is Shantanu Vaidya. I am here with a new video topic. My today's video topic is primitive and non-primitive data type difference in Java. Let's start with the primitive data type and non-primitive data types. What are they? Uh, exactly, we all know the both concept like primitive data types and non-primitive data types. I'm not going to explain the functionalities or the values of primitive data types and non-primitive data types. I'm going to explain the difference between them. First, primitive data types. There are eight different data types which are present in primitive, and there are some non-primitive data types, which is meant by a reference data types or a user-defined data types. First, I'll explain primitive data types. What are they actually having, and what the importance of them. First, there are eight. It means eight number of data types are there. We can use in Java. So let's start with the boolean, character, integer, long, byte, short. Uh, all these are eight data types. So I'll explain some of them because we all know everyone in between this, and we are using that data types in our day-to-day programming language in Java language. So I'll explain some of them like a character or a boolean or some what integer or float or double. Character can be used to store a single character. Boolean can be used to store both values, true or false, only one value. But it can be work in only two scenarios, like false or true or false scenario. Boolean can be work on true or false scenario. Integer can be work over integer level values, integer type values. So this is when we are going to use integer, when we are going to use numbers or addition of two numbers, we are going to use integer data type. When we are going to store a variable, store a value in variable like character, some alphabets or some words, we are going to use character data type. When we are going to use more byte memory used in our program, so we are going to use long data type, short data type, int or boolean data type. So this is all about primitive data types, where we are going to use and how we are going to use. I'm going to explain you non-primitive data types or user-defined data types. What is the non-primitive data types? There can be a two or three or more than that non-primitive data types are there. First one is class, interface, arrays, or these three are mainly used. Example wise, it means we are going to use both of them in some in some scenarios or certainty in between the program. We are going to use class, also we are going to use array, or we are going to use interface and strings. First, I am going to explain array or a character array or any type of array. Array contains a specific value or a similar type of data which is present in that particular array, or which is present in that particular variables are present in that array, or value of that variables are present in array. So exactly it means we cannot we are going to implement this what we can say. I'll explain you with a small example. If we want to write a code of addition of two numbers, we are definitely going to use integer type of integer data type. If we are going to use that values of two numbers, we are going to assign values, we are going to use integer data type. If we are going to put that value from input from user, we are going to use that in some arrays, or we are going to use a string for that particular user or user defined to allocate that particular memory, allocate that particular inputs to us. So this is the example of non-primitive data type where we are going to use or where we are going to work that non-primitive data types. Example wise, string and array both are work similarly, but the main difference of string and array in Java is string is a sequence of similar data types, and array or character array is a number of element present at that particular array. This is the main difference. In the string, we are going to store both numbers as well as characters. But in a character array or in a particular array, we are going to use a particular data type. It means we have to assign a predefined data type to that array. So then only we are going to store the values of the variable in that. Similarly, in strings, we are going to use or we are going to store both numbers as well as characters by giving the string data type. So this is all about primitive and non-primitive data type. The difference is that primitive data types are going to store a value of your variables, and non-primitive data types are going to reference the value of your variables in your memory location, because primitive data types are ordinary or what we can say, this is the predefined data types in our programming language Java, and non-primitive data types are can be defined by user or can be created by user or can be created by other programmer in Java. So that is why they are not going to directly assign the value or not going to directly indicate your memory locations by using non-primitive data types. So that is why they are going to create an object of that particular variable or going to refer that variable memory location in your program. And in other hands, primitive data types are going to store directly value of your variable to its own memory and going to implement in your memory location of your program. So this is the main difference between primitive and non-primitive data types. This is all about today's video topic from me. Thank you so much.